For decades, we've all been told this one story about what it takes to be a global superpower. But what if I told you that story is missing the most important chapter?
What if the next global superpower isn't decided by who comes up with the most brilliant, game-changing idea,
but by who is the absolute best at executing on that idea and getting it into the hands of billions? I mean, what if the real power isn't about the invention at all, but about the execution?
So this really sets up a fundamental clash, right? Two totally different ways of thinking about power and influence on the world stage.
Okay, so for the last century, the US model was pretty straightforward. Be the first, invent the next big thing, lead the world, and everyone else will have to catch up. But that's not the only game in town anymore. A whole new reality is taking shape, and it's built on a completely different philosophy.
And that's where China's playbook comes in. See, it's not about being first. Not at all. It's about being the most effective. It's a strategy that's all about one thing: scale.
And I mean, the results, they kind of speak for themselves. We're talking about an economy worth over $20 trillion. You just don't get that big by accident. No way. This was the result of a very deliberate, super methodical, and honestly an incredibly powerful strategy.
And the crazy part is, the strategy itself is almost deceptively simple. It's basically a three-step method. Step 1, replicate. Just copy what's already out there and working. Step 2, improve. Make it better, make it cheaper, make it more efficient. And then step 3, and this is the real knockout blow: mass execution. Just produce it at a speed, a cost, and a scale that nobody else on the planet can touch.
Okay, so let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. Because this isn't some academic theory. This is a proven model for just dominating a market. A perfect example? Electric vehicles. A lot of that early foundational tech, the big innovations, that came from the West. The US, Europe, they basically invented the whole category.
But here's the thing. While everyone else was busy trying to build a better car, China was playing a different game. They were focused on building a better system. They realized this wasn't just about cars, it was about the future of energy. So, quietly, behind the scenes, they started preparing. They poured money into controlling the entire battery supply chain, locking down resources like lithium, cobalt, and graphite. They were literally building the entire ecosystem before the demand even really took off.
And then came the real ace up their sleeve: scale. China didn't just build a few EVs, they started mass producing them at a speed and at a cost that nobody else could even come close to matching. And that is the power of execution.
And listen, this wasn't just a one-off. It's a pattern. We saw the exact same thing happen with drones. Yeah, the tech might have started somewhere else, but you look at the market today. Chinese companies own it. They absolutely dominate. And why? Not because they were first, because they executed better.
Okay, so all of that brings us to the next big battlefield. And honestly, this might be the one that decides everything. We're not talking about cars or drones anymore. We're talking about the engine of all future tech: AI.
And in the world of AI, there's one resource that's more valuable than gold: computing power. It's literally the engine that makes AI run. The smaller, the faster, the more powerful your chips, the smarter your AI gets. It's that simple.
So this is where the US has decided to draw a hard line in the sand. They see what's at stake. And they are actively, right now, restricting China's access to the most advanced chips, especially from companies like NVIDIA. Because this isn't just business anymore. This is high-stakes national strategy.
But that leads to a really interesting question, right? When someone blocks the front door, how do you get in? Well, China isn't just sitting around waiting. They're already finding back doors.
And sometimes the answers come from places you would never think to look. Picture this: a little medical startup. They're working on some advanced laser tech to, treat heart blockages. Sounds totally unrelated to this global power struggle, right? Just medicine.
Well, here's the twist. That exact same extreme ultraviolet or EUV technology, the stuff they're using in those medical lasers, it also happens to be the single most critical piece of the puzzle for making the next generation of super powerful AI chips. It's a classic case of what they call dual-use technology, where a breakthrough in one area can suddenly unlock incredible power in a completely different one.
So let's just zoom out for a second, because what we're really truly talking about here is a whole new kind of global competition. Forget what you know. This is economic warfare, and the prize is the future itself.
In the old days, wars were fought with armies and tanks on a battlefield. Today, Today's wars are fought with economies. They're fought over supply chains. They're fought for control of critical tech. Think about it. If you can control the flow of essential resources, if you can dominate production, you can bend entire nations to your will, and you never have to fire a single bullet.
Which brings us right back to the central question, really. The defining question for the future of global power. And it really boils down to this one simple truth. Innovation, that creates the spark, the idea. But execution, that's what controls the fire. It's the ability to take that spark and turn it into something that reaches the entire world. That's what controls the future.
So I'll leave you with this. As we look at the next 10, 20 years, who is really going to be leading the world? Is it going to be the one who invents the future? Or is it going to be the one who scales it to billions of people? Because the answer to that question, well, that's going to define everything.